Well, welcome everyone to the Inspirational Businesswoman Show. This is Virginia Parsons, your host, and I'm excited to share with you, I think, what's a very important topic to get today, and that is all about natural menopause miracle to lose fat and get your figure back. And we are featuring a special guest, Batista Gremaud, and she is going to be able to share some great ideas for you. So hold on to your hats, and as we get started, if you would please click share and send this event out to other people that you think might benefit by this information, we would love that. Also, go ahead and comment where you're viewing from. We'd love to know where you're hanging out from today, and we'll get started in just a moment. Welcome, everyone. It's so great to be here today. I have such a wonderful guest. I'm looking forward to introducing her to you in just a moment. But first of all, I want to say hi to all of you, because whether you're here live or in replay mode, we appreciate you taking the time to spend that time with us. So thank you for being here. And don't be shy. Come on in and say hi in the comment section. Let us know where you're viewing from. And if you think this information would be valuable to others, it would be so helpful if you went ahead and shared it. So you got those share links there. Just go ahead and take advantage of it. Put your comments in the comment section, and we'll be anxious to get your feedback on everything we're going to be doing today. Now, let me start with a little bit here about where the show is sponsored from. And the show is sponsored by hangout-marketing.com. Now, you can receive a complimentary assessment. And this assessment is all about live stream broadcasting, something you're seeing us do here today. There's a lot going on beyond the scenes, or I should say behind the scenes. And if you want to learn more about how you can incorporate this into your own business, then go ahead and take the assessment. It'll only take you about 5 minutes. So to take the assessment, just go to hangout-marketing.com, or you can text pound success. So put the pound in front of it and then success to 775-800-4179. That'll take you the assessment as well. So I hope that you take advantage of this, because it really will give you some insights into your own knowledge base and how you can use live stream broadcasting in your own business so that you can step out of your shadow and shine as the go-to expert. Okay, that's enough of promotion. Let's get started with this incredible topic. Today, I'm so happy to feature Batista Gremaud. And I hope, Batista, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If not, in a moment, you just come on and tell me how to say it. But she is an amazing gal who's been around the blocks for a long time. She is co-founder of Dr. Fitness USA. Don't you love that name? She is a certified personal trainer, and she is a best-selling author, and she has been working in this field for many, many years. And I think this is an important topic for anyone 40 and over. Now, I know that I went through menopause many years ago, just to date myself a little bit. And I would have loved to have the information that Batista is about to share with us on how to lose fat and get your figure back after menopause. This is such a challenge for so many women. So as I say, if you think you know someone who would enjoy this information, click the share button and send it out to them, because they'll either be able to watch it live or in replay. It will be available for you. Now, here's what Batista is going to talk about. She's going to be talking about defying the menopause monster. Have you had that feeling? I know I have, and really it can get in the way of so much of your productivity, which Batista is going to be talking about today. Also, how health affects your wealth. What an important thing to think about. I think we all know it intuitively, but when you get into the details of how important it is to have the most vital health you can so that you can grow your business and shine and get your expertise out there, Batista's going to be discussing that. Finally, she's going to give us a formula to look and feel 15 years younger. Now, who doesn't want that? Unless you're maybe 20, 25, 30 or younger, maybe you're not interested in this, but the rest of us, which is the majority of the population, I know are going to be interested in what Batista has to say about that. So Batista, come on in and say hi to our audience, won't you?
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. And this is my very favorite topic to talk about. So I have a lot to say.
Well, we're gonna give it to them, aren't we, Batista? We're gonna give them everything you got, well, as much as you can handle today in our 45 minutes of time. So I like to start with defining moments in your own life, because I think people are interested in that from a business standpoint. How did you get from where you were to where you are today? What were some defining moments that got you to this point in life? And also from there, just a little background as far as, what you're doing in your own business. So I'm just going to give you the floor and you go ahead and share that with people.
Yeah, that's great. So the defining moment for me is when I was in my mid-40s, my body really started to change. So to give you a background, I was an entertainer, a ballet dancer, and a flamenco dancer. So I was always in the fitness world, if you like to put it that way, always having to be in shape and look good, because that was my life. And so I was very healthy anyways, but I had a lot of injuries by the time I turned in my mid-40s. And like my injuries weren't like healing that fast anymore. Before, when you're younger, you can kind of do things and you can bounce back. And I just wasn't bouncing back that easily. And the defining moment for me is one of my other hobby or passion is metaphysical science, the power of the mind, and how we can manifest things in our lives. And one day I was in a meditation class, and it's like I woke up and I looked around and I saw a lot of like other people over 40 like myself, trying to reach out and read auras and do this meditation and everything. And I saw a lot of people that really had lost touch with their bodies, just like me. Trying to reach out and read aura, So I woke up and I decided, okay, I know enough. I've come a long ways and I need to change something in my life. And I put into I made a markup board, and I really focused my intention to manifest something that was going to change this predicament. Because it's like, as a performer and as a dancer, if you don't have your body is your instrument. It's how you're going to make money, right? And if I was going to lose that, then that's my livelihood was going down the drain. So for me, it was like really a matter of I like to say life and death. I can really say that now because I see the importance for health purpose. But really, you know, that's where I was at. So I put all my focus in one, you know, and I really got determined to find something. And the next day, after making this whole mock-up board and everything, I met Dr. Fitness USA. So that was a very, that completely spin my life around, because being an entertainer and being already in the fitness world from my perspective, from the perspective of a ballet dancer, you know, like I was like boot camp, you know, it's like boot camp. It's like, do more, always the show must go on. You know, you gotta forget the injuries. You gotta keep going and keep going. And what I heard from Dr. Fitness USA was something entirely different. I heard things like, never do anything that's uncomfortable, reach your feminine to get to your strength. I mean, the conversation was bizarre, you know?
Well, I'm just going to interject here because I think what you're saying is probably very typical for many women who hit that point in their lives. Because, you know, 40 is just a big milestone anyway. And then when you're doing all that you were doing athletically and physically with your body, and I can really identify with that because many, many years ago with a good buddy of mine who's on right now, as a matter of fact, I used to teach fitness classes at a corporate center, believe it or not. And there were days where I would do 6 or so, and the next day I would feel like I was hit by a Mack truck. And so I'm interested in what Dr. Fitness said because, yeah, do less, not more. I think a lot of people are feeling like they don't do enough physically, and probably a lot of us don't. But I think there's also this misnomer that we need to do a lot more than maybe we need to do to be balanced and fit. So take it away.
Absolutely, because really what I heard, you know, the Dr. Fitness USA's philosophy is never to do anything that's uncomfortable. So the whole system is based on comfort, on feeling good. We never work out to failure. If you're familiar with that concept in fitness, you got to work to failure because that's how you're going to get your results. And none of that. We always work from a perspective of feeling good. And all the programs are based on strength training. And that's also something that I never understood because I had a lot of injuries, and the thought of lifting weight didn't compute for me in terms of feeling good, never doing anything that's uncomfortable, and that I'm going to do strength training and this is what's going to happen. Strength training, lifting weight for me equal pain. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and being a dancer, I had another issue with weightlifting is I didn't want to get bulky. You know, I was afraid, you know, so I was afraid of getting bulky. I was afraid of injuries. I just didn't. So what I learned through talking to Dr. Fitness USA, and now because we were talking about the determining moment where my life changed. So let me tell you what happened. The conversation was so bizarre and I so didn't get it, but I had so prayed for it. You know, that when it came to me, I said, okay, you know, you prayed for it. You got to give it a try, right? Because that I never heard before. So I tried everything else, but I didn't try that. So I hired him. And I got on his system, and I'm going to tell you that within a week, I stopped gaining weight because I was gaining weight like crazy, even though I was on diets and everything. But most importantly, within just maybe a couple of weeks or a month, all my injuries healed.
All your injuries healed. That's significant. That is a defining moment, especially because you had been struggling with this for quite a while.
I was struggling with this, and it was getting worse and worse. You see, in the early 80s, I had a series of car accidents 7 car accidents to be precise.
7? My God, well, that's a whole other story.
That's another story. It was a karmic thing. I needed to transform my life. I got the message. I never had another car accident after that. But
thank God.
Yeah, but I in a period of 2 years, and that left me with this backache and neck problem that I was absolutely never able to get rid of. And I was a performer, so I danced over the injuries, but I kept myself above water, if you like to say, with massages and stretches and acupuncture, chiropractor. By the time I was in my mid-40s, I was going to the chiropractor at least 2-3 times a week, getting massages, also a couple of times. So it was adding up, and I was not getting better. So when all of a sudden the shoulder, I had a frozen shoulder. I couldn't move my shoulder at all. That took a little longer. I think the shoulder is a little more of a tricky area, to heal. But my backache, which was debilitating for like 30 years, was gone in 2 weeks.
Fabulous.
And so when all of a sudden my injuries healed, then I had no more pain. Then that's when I said, there's something here. There's something more here that's worth looking into. So I became fascinated. And so I started researching the philosophy that Dr. Fitness USA always talks about. He talks about, one of the things that is crucial, and especially for women over 40, is learning to work out from a female perspective, a feel-good perspective. Because if you think about male and female energies, and we both have both, okay, male and female energies. So the male energy is all about the doing. Okay. Think about it. When we reach 40 and up, we start having hormonal changes. So we start producing more progesterone, which kind of makes us more male, right, in the sense, right? So we become more intellectual, and we like business, and we like to do things. And so what happens is there is a little bit of an imbalance that happens between the male and the female energy within the body. So when you go about fitness, okay, when you start approaching fitness, I got to get in shape, I got to hire a personal trainer, I got to do, right? That's also male energy. The male energy is doing, competing, achieving, it's all these performance-based activities. The female energy is receiving, feeling good. Okay, so when you go about the fitness with a more male energy, which is competing, and you're 40, so you're already running a lot more male energy in your life, then the body becomes completely off balance. Okay, so
I never would have thought of that, because what you're saying is that at that point we're feeling a need to do more because our bodies are shifting. And so we're feeling a need, I better go out there and work harder. And you're saying that a lot of that has to do with the hormonal shifts that are going on.
Yes.
And that's interesting that you equate that also to business. I find that fascinating, because certainly my business aspirations changed and grew a lot in a different way at 40, definitely. But what you're suggesting then that you discovered from him was that all the work that you'd been doing so hard, that you discovered really you needed to work more from the female energy perspective, and which isn't as aggressive, which isn't as competitive. And as you say, with weight training, so often women are afraid that they're going to gain bulk when they lift weights. And it just sounds like he has guided you. And who is Mr. Fitness anyway? Would you like to give him?
Dr. Fitness. He's this guy right here.
Stephen Hersey. Okay.
Stephen Hersey. Yeah, Stephen Hersey, Dr. Fitness. Dr. Fitness USA. So he's the brand, okay, of the business. His real name is Stephen Hersey, and he's my husband now. What happened is
You married your trainer. I love it.
Well, it just happened, right? Yeah. So yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful man. And, I love it because I always come first in our relationships. Like, whatever I need, if I need to go train or take care of myself, what I'm saying, he walks the talk. So sometimes, people, like me in the beginning, the conversation was so bizarre. I can't even start to tell you, but what happens is if you see the lifestyle, he walks the talk. And in fact, he's 70 years old now and he doesn't look a day over 50. So whatever he's doing is really working, Yeah. And for me personally, I can tell you when we say, look and feel 15 years younger with our system, I really literally mean look and feel 15 years younger. Because when I look at my pictures 10 years ago, before I met him, I was literally looking like 15 years older than I'm now 10 years later, and I'm pain free. So, there are miracles. There are miracles.
It sounds like it. Now, let's get into the menopause monster.
Yes.
How does it express itself? And how can I want people who are here, our viewers, to be able to take home some quick tips that they can use to help overcome some of these factors, these menopausal monster factors that are going on in so many women's lives. So let's hear it. What are your best tips for that menopausal monster?
So the first thing and the most important thing that any woman over 40 need to really grasp is that you need to do less aerobics, less stretching, less of anything, hiking or whatever it is, and pick up strength training. This is so crucial, okay? Because the strength training has so many benefits and they are all proven now, okay? You can just go ahead and research strength training, health benefits for strength training. There are so superior benefits to strength training for the immune system, for combating osteoporosis, for balancing hormones. Strength training even helps you balance the hormones. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important after 40, because that's when the hormones start shifting. And when I mean strength training, I don't mean going to the gym and picking up a 2-pound dumbbell. That's not strength training. That's the other huge misconception that women have. We talk to women and we say, are you doing strength training? Oh yeah, I'm doing strength training. Okay, so what are you doing? Oh, I'm walking with my 5 pounds or 2 pounds dumbbells, or, there is this misconception that doing lightweight and high reps is strength training. It's not, okay? That still falls in the category of aerobic activity. And there is a very simple explanation for that is because of the muscle fibers you use, okay? Strength training, you need to use the slow twitch muscle fibers, the fast twitch muscle fibers, sorry. I don't want to get too technical, but there are different muscle fibers in the body. And depending on which activity you do, you use one or the other. Okay. So one develops endurance, like if you want to do a marathon, like yoga, that's a category. And the strength training, you have to use those other muscle fibers, which are designed to build muscle mass. So that's like proven scientific. But you can't argue with that. Okay. So
let's be clear.
Yes.
Because as you say, strength training, some people might think is using 2-pound dumbbells, and actually, I'm pretty good with those. I got that one down.
Okay.
And I use elastic bands and a lot of different things. And it's not that you're saying these should not be done. What you're saying is that we should do less of that and we should incorporate strength training in. And so defining strength training is something that's going to challenge your muscle fiber to the extent of what? Fatigue, failure?
No.
I mean,
no. We don't work to failure, okay, because that's performance, and we want to be empowered. So in our system, there is a gradual weight increase that we do very safely. So you're going to reach your maximum potential, okay? Because not everybody has a mark of how much weight they need to lift in order to get that result. And it's a little bit different for everybody. It depends of the weight, the size, the frame of the person. It depends on the emotion, the lifestyle. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. So with our system, we have a very safe way to get to that weight. Okay. So I can't give you a number because it's different for everybody. And I don't want anybody to go and say, oh, now let me go and pick up that 25 dumbbell and then hurt yourself. It doesn't happen that way.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, of course not. I can understand that it has to be personalized, and that's why they have personal trainers, isn't it? So that people work at their own pace. What about the amount of time that a person should spend doing strength training? How long would you recommend a session be, and how often? How many times a week?
Yeah. So in our system, we can go 1 to 3 times per week for about 45 minutes average. Okay. So when you have a system like the one we teach, it's like a prescription. We call it prescription strength training. So the exercises build on each other. We don't work like personal trainers do. Muscle groups. We work the whole body as a whole. So it's a prescription. So you build strength progressively. And unlike other modalities in the fitness industry, like if you stop, you kind of fall off the wagon and then you kind of have to start from scratch, because it's a prescription and it rebuilds the body from the inside out. Then even if you stopped or you were able to go only once a week, the strength stays with you because the body has intelligence and memory. The muscles have memory. So when you, and that's good or bad, right? Because if you give them things that are harmful and damaging, they're going to remember too, and then they're going to go, oh, I don't want to do that. So when we work with an intelligent system that really rebuild the body symmetrically, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about putting the body back in balance. And one of the things that's also very misunderstood and overlooked is postural alignment. A lot of people work out from the postural alignment they are in. And unfortunately, a lot of people really have bad posture. We sit in front of the computer, we're on our cell phones. So we spend a lot of times developing that forward head posture, which is very, very damaging to your health because it cuts blood flow to the brain. Okay, it creates stagnation in the body. So wherever you have stagnation, you have disease and illness. So when you can get rid of this and rebuild from the inside out, then you start giving the body the space where it can heal.
Got it. And I just want to say also that Batista is going to have a resource on all of this available to you, which we'll be talking about at the end of the program, and a great opportunity for you to learn more about her prescription training. So I'm excited about that. So I think what you're pointing out is important. First of all, we've all from years past felt you had to do longer, steady state type of aerobics. I think that is now not as endorsed as it was. You're suggesting to let go of that, not to eliminate it. It's fine to go for a walk, right? Isn't walking still?
Yeah, of course. I walk 3 times. I love walking.
So let's not stop walking. But whether or not you need to go to an hour aerobics class is questionable. I would even question whether or not you need to go to an hour spinning class. unless because you're not really building strength there.
No, and when you think about it, the spinning class is very damaging to your posture, because think about it, you're like this. And for most people, it even aggravates their posture. So then people complain of backaches and say, well, what are you? That happens all the time. We say, oh, I have a backache. Well, what did you do? I went to spinning class. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So then you're combining that with the importance of that the program that you do must be to help balance the body.
Yes.
And I know from a good friend of mine who does symmetry practice that's really important, that if we're out of balance, that affects our health as well. So you're suggesting that what needs to be done is a form of strength training that is going to not necessarily work individual muscle groups, but the body as a whole, and do it in a way that's going to balance the body out, which will, let's lead that into our next topic, which is how your health affects your wealth. Because I think that has to do with balance too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And, and how does that affect women over 40? What you need to know is that, you probably know, that over 40 with the hormonal changes, then we are not as capable of handling stress the same way. I don't know if you noticed that in your life, but I certainly have noticed in my own life. I used to be able to multitask and do 100 things all at once. And the more stress, the more I would achieve, because I would be under pressure. And you know what? I can't do this anymore. And this is a fact that because of the hormonal changes, over 40, we don't handle stress as good. Okay. So we need to find some real stress management tools that can help us to, to stay focused and to stay on track. And how does that happen? How does that affect your business? Well, it's kind of obvious, right? Too much stress, you lose concentration, you lose focus, you can potentially get headaches, and you are not as productive as you could be, right? So imagine having a tool that you can use to actually completely decompress in 40 minutes, just to take a break, go out, decompress, rebuild your strength, quiet the mind, relieve stress. You come back to work and you are so much more focused, and you can achieve like 5 times the amount of things that you would otherwise.
What you're saying is that doing this type of a prescriptive program, which it basically is a strengthening program, but a whole body strengthening and balancing program that you're doing in about 40 minutes is really kind of rebooting yourself from a stress standpoint. And I can definitely attest to that because I spent way too much time in front of the computer. And talk about a situation where you need to get up and move around, circulate your blood, and do something that's going to challenge you enough to breathe deeply. I think that's the other thing, is sitting around too much and bad posture, and you're not, got to sit up, you're not using your lung capacity and all of that. When I do that, I sleep so much better.
Absolutely.
And when I don't do it, I'm much more restless. So you're just saying that is all part of the stress factor that affects our ability to stay focused and concentrate on our work.
And fight depression, anxiety, mood disorders, it's all connected. So, and that affects, obviously, all of that affects your business. And we actually teach women to stop multitasking.
Good luck.
Yeah. But the beauty, okay, is that whatever you learn in the gym, it's kind of a life coaching, okay? Because I don't know if you heard this saying, how you do one thing, you do everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. So if you go and you look in the gym, the people working out, they're on their cell phones, they are just, it's just like amazing. But when you think about it, when you're lifting weight, it's weight. So it's it's kind of heavy, you know? So it's like we say, the weight goes up or down. So if you're not focused and single-minded, doesn't work. You can't do it. The weight, you know, it's at that moment, it's like you and God, you know what I mean? So you learn. It's very, very, it's a great learning experience, because when you think about it and you think of the philosophy behind it and you apply it to other things in your life, then you can really see the connections of how adopting this type of behavior for other things in life could really lead to greater benefits than meet the eyes. As a matter of fact, you know, there are researches that have been done about multitasking, and now it's proven that multitasking actually doesn't save you time at all.
I know. As a matter of fact, I've done some exercises on that, and it's been proven just by a couple of simple exercises. But it's still hard to get out of the habit of multitasking. It's just one of those things. I'm a woman. I can do all these things, right?
Yeah,
but you're right.
You know, it's but that's the trick also, and that also about women over 40. You have to understand that, you know, when you pass 40, you produce more progesterone, so we become more male in a sense. Okay, so it might be easier to do a lot of multitasking when we're younger, but when we are older, you know, 40 and up, then that also affects our health because of the hormonal changes. We're just not the same anymore. And that's why it's very important to take into consideration that we need to also adjust the way we do things in our life to reduce stress, feel better, look younger, be healthier, avoid getting sick and things like that, you know. And multitasking is one of those things, because we change the hormones. You can't avoid it. The hormones are changing. We are changing. And, you know, it's very difficult for men to multitask. Most men, not a lot of men, but not every man. But if they're left-handed, then they have like okay, I'm jumping ahead. Let me backtrack. The female and the male brain is a little bit different. The woman has a larger connective tissue between the left and right. So we can think and feel at the same time, go back and forth. But the man, he thinks or he feels. It's, you know, they're not like women. You probably know that.
It's either or, huh?
It is.
With men, and women, of course, are much more well-rounded.
Yeah. But that, as we change and we grow in age, it changes too. You see, because the men, they produce less testosterone, so they become more feminized.
Right.
You know? So you see the role kind of shift as we get older, right? So you gotta think about all these things and think about how it's affecting your life, and really reflect on what is it that you or me or anybody listening to the show, what is it that I'm doing in my life that needs to shift so that I can feel good and be productive and be at my peak?
Okay, so that takes us into the third topic, and that's basically your formula or strategies to feel 15 years younger. And I want to make sure that people get this and take their notes down. I know that what you've been saying all relates to it anyway.
It does.
The point is, let's give them some step-by-step guidance here, and then we'll let them know about the special offer that you have. So
okay, perfect. Yes, actually. Okay. So I already said go do more strength training, less aerobics. So doing some strength training 1 to 3 times a week is a must. Okay. And of course, check your mic. You're getting a little reverberation. I don't know if it's because it's hitting your hair or if it's not plugged in quite right. Okay, hold on.
All of a sudden, you started to reverberate when you shifted your hair and your mic at the same time.
Okay, how is that?
Yeah, we're still getting a little reverberation.
Okay, let me. Now?
No, try moving your hair away from your mic.
Oh, okay.
Your hair's right by your mic. I don't know if that's it, but let's try that.
Okay.
That's better.
Is it better? Was my hair?
Still doing a little bit. I'm not sure what that is. It must be a loose connection in your headset.
Okay, let me try to get rid of the mic. And how is that? How is that?
Still
Can you
getting
hear me?
reverberation. Not sure what that's about. Well, go ahead. Let's see if it corrects itself, because I want them to get this information.
Okay, but can you hear me okay?
I can. It's just a little reverberating.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
And people who are here, could you just reaffirm if it's reverberating or not? Just make a comment and let me know. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we already said more strength training, less aerobic activities and all that. Also, you have to understand that about grounding the body has to be grounded to really function properly. And by grounded, and I'm relating to the fitness, because that's what we're talking about, but it really relates just as well to business, okay? And it relates to what we were talking about with multitasking and all that. But grounding is very, very important for the body to function properly, and also to strengthen the nervous system so your mind can be quiet and focused. So when it relates to fitness, for example, what we do is we really don't promote cross-training or jumping around, mixing, matching exercises. So to give you some practical tools, for example, the strength comes from the ground up. Okay, so when you start your week training, start working something that works the legs, for example, like a leg press or something like that, because the amount of strength that comes from the legs is going to propel to your upper body. And, we go to a gym and we see people coming from a leg press and then doing jumping jacks and then going to another strength training and then doing, mixing and matching. Don't do this. Have a series of exercises, work your legs, keep the jumping jacks for another day. The other thing that is very important to know, and there's a lot of controversy on this, but do your own research, is keep your stretching for the off days or after your strength training activity. Don't go and stretch before, or even if you're a runner, stretching before.
No, but you're still suggesting it's a good idea to stretch afterwards, right? Yes. Because, if you've done something that's really tightened the muscles, I would think you'd want to let them.
Yeah, you stretch afterwards, or you
but not necessarily before. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But we see people going and stretching and then hitting the weights, and and that stretching is loosening up your tendons and ligaments, and strength training is tightening up. So why do you want to loose them up before you go and to build strength? It's totally counterproductive, and it can lead to injuries. So don't do that. And then the other thing that really, anybody that works out or doesn't work out, you really know where your posture is at, so that you can actually work the opposing muscles. That's something that you can do for yourself. Take a picture of your body sideways, back and front. If you're a woman with long hair, pull your hair up and have somebody take the picture for you, or now with a tripod, you can do it very easily. And look at where your posture is at. Compare it to, you can just put postural diagram online, and so you can have an idea of where your posture is at, and see where your posture is at. And when you work out, just work the opposite way. If you're like this and you're going to do an exercise, don't do an exercise like this. Try to force it back, because you can't will and think good posture. You have to build the synergetic muscles in the body so that you can hold your good posture naturally. That's the only way. So awareness is number one. Most people are not aware, and so they don't know. So, and then they go doing things that are aggravating the situation, and which is very detrimental for your health and your business. Okay, because we talked about the brain muscle connection and how that affects the way you think and be able to focus. So these would be the things that I would really encourage anybody to really think about and take into consideration. And of course, you know, it's obvious, and there's a lot of talk now and a lot of information about diets and eating, drinking water and sleeping. And so, of course, these are things that go without saying that are just as important, you know, but we focus on the things
I think
less about.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that you definitely want to take into consideration that there's more to it than strength training. But the importance with the strength training is that you find out a little bit about how imbalanced you are, and by taking a picture and then thinking about how you can do counter exercises. You know, like if you're slumped forward like this, you probably want to do something that's going to pull you back, as an example.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So choose exercises that are going to, you know, work opposite than just continue. Yeah.
Well, let's go. We're running out of time, so let's go ahead. What I'm going to do is let you all know that Batista has a very special coupon offer for you for her program. So let me bring the program up for a moment, and we'll expand here so you can see it. All right, and this is the page that you're going to be able to go to. The page is Batista's Gift, but I will give it link to you in just a moment. But basically, on this page, you're going to see a very special showstopper special for her Menopause Miracle Program. So I'm very excited about that for you to go and check out, because she really expands on all of this information. I'm trying to get my page to scroll. It's not wanting to. There we go. There it is. Okay, so that you can see that, you can go check out all the different things that you get as part of the program here. So I just wanted you to know that this is available. And Batista, why don't you go ahead and talk about it while I post the actual link to $150, which is a great savings.
Yeah. So this is a wonderful program. You get so much information with this program. It sells on our website for $247. So for a very exclusive offer for your show, we're going to give it for $97. And there's so much information. What you get in this program is you get my #1 best-selling book, Feminine Body Design. And feminine body design explains all these misconceptions that people think about fitness. So it puts everything in perspective. It's kind of like the longer version of what we talked about today. And then you get the Natural Miracle, Menopause Miracle is also another book. I identify 35 symptoms that, you know, we know about hot flashes and sleep and stress. But there's other symptoms that we may not be so aware of, like maybe a body odor, losing hair. You know, there's a lot of other things that we don't, brittle nails and things like this. So I identify 35 symptoms and give some natural remedies for it. And then you have the Lose the Fat and Flap of Menopause. This is a book that I wrote when I was so curious about, you know, belly fat and all that. So we get lots of tips in that. Then you have a 7 fat loss recipe guide also included. And the best of the best of the best, you actually get a strength training routine. Everything explains which equipment you need, how you need to do the exercise, the sequence. And this is an introduction program. Of course, we have more things, you know, later on that you can buy. Like we have a full-blown program. We have a whole year coaching program. But this one will give you the basis of what you can actually do in the gym to get results and to really stop wasting time and start really benefiting from the things that we talked about today, such as exercises to rebuild the posture, to correct muscular imbalances, you know, and real tips about the angle of the benches or the seats, because it's all about the ergonomics and the comfort of how you can do the exercises to get the results. So you get all this.
All that. That's so much. So now you can save $150. What you need to do when you go to that page is make sure when you click on the registration that you use the coupon code Virginia, VIRGINIA. That is the coupon code. Make sure that you do put that in so that you save $150. But my gosh, Batista, you're giving so much. That's just, I think great for people who are looking to find a path and guidance and step-by-step information on how they really can transform their life after they've gone through or are going through menopause. This is certainly appropriate for anyone who is approaching menopause age. So we've got pre-menopause and after menopause. All those tips that you're providing, I think, would be very valuable. So we really appreciate your giving our viewers this special code.
And I just want to say, if anybody, listener is under 40, like in their 30s, I just want to just address that, is that the sooner you start, it's like insurance, you build insurance. So the sooner you start, even if you're not 40 yet, you'll reach the 40s kind of like with money in the bank, like your muscle mass, your posture, everything. So you don't need to wait until you're 40, because health is cumulative. So the sooner you start, the easier the rest, your 40s, 50s.
Well, not only you don't need to wait till you're 40, but if you're well after 40, like I am, you are going to benefit immensely as far as, the energy that you have, the strength that you have, the ability to function in life. And as you get older, really have a life that is productive and thriving and stress-free.
It's never too late. Okay, it's never
too late. Yeah,
it's never too late. I'm going to tell you.
I saw a gal in her 80s who obviously had done strength training, and she looked fabulous, and you could tell how much energy she had. Exactly. So I'm expecting to feel that way when I get even older than I am.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. We recently, I don't know, maybe we're out of time, but I'm going to give you this example anyways. We recently worked with somebody, 74 years old, cancer survivor, open heart surgery. She came to us. She wanted more energy and be stronger. And now she works out independently by herself at LA Fitness, and she trains better than any pro bodybuilder, and she owns the gym, and she's 74.
Wow. Great.
And
Great
you can find her testimonials on our YouTube channel and our website.
So it's never too late. Guys, all got that? So I want to thank you, Batista, for being here with us today. I want to thank our viewers who have been live and those of you who I know are going to be joining us in replay mode all around the web. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. Now, feel free to send questions through the comment section that's available here. Or you can always email me if you have questions, and I'll send them off to Batista. I don't have my email down right here, but it is my name, virginiaparsons@gmail.com, if you happen to be picking this up on one of the later broadcasts. Feel free to get your questions answered. I know that Batista will be willing to share any of her knowledge with you, but go take advantage of this special. Again, $150 off. All you have to do is go to, let me expand this so everyone can see it. Here we go. Batista's gift is hmtips.com/Batista gift. And I have put it in the chat for those of you who see this later, but also for those of you who are viewing it on another source. It's hmtips.com/Batista gift. So again, I want to thank you, Batista, for being here with us. And any last comments you'd like to share with people?
No, just, stay young, stay fit, and enjoy life, this beautiful life. And when you are feeling good, everything is so much easier. And I'm going to tell you, I saw an AARP board the other day. It said, strength is not optional. Strength is not optional. When you have strength, you recover easier for things that happen. Strength is like insurance. if something happens, you fall, you break a leg, or you have an injury, an illness, if you have a certain amount of strength before, then you can rebound. And if you don't, it can be very, very challenging to get well after something happens. As a matter of fact, there is a 16% of premature death chances after fracture.
Yeah.
Fact,
so many reasons for you to go ahead and really take advantage of this. She's offering so much for you. So all right. Well, I want to thank you once again, Batista, for being here with us today. And I want to thank all of you for taking the time, whether it's in replay or you've been here live with us. We appreciate you. And if you found value in the information, please go ahead and share this with those that you think might benefit. We would appreciate that. In the meantime, have a great week. Go out and embrace life fully. And I'll see you on the next Inspirational Businesswoman show. Bye-bye now.
Bye.